1. Red Wings Top 10 Prospects 2023-24 Detroit ETA and NHL Debut Predictions. 2. 3 Red Wings Prospects to Watch in 2025-26. Wallinder, James, Cossa. 1. Red Wings Top 10 Prospects 2023-24 Detroit ETA and NHL Debut Predictions. Get ready for a youth movement in Hockey Town. Detroit's pipeline is brimming with talent, and fans are itching to know when these prospects will finally pull on the winged wheel. Last season, 4 of General Manager Steve Yzerman's first-round selections became lineup regulars, a clear sign that Detroit's rebuild is gathering steam. But here's where it gets controversial. While 3 more first-rounders are banging on the NHL door, there's a very real possibility they won't be on the ice for opening night. Detroit Hockey Now has released its preseason ranking of the 10 most buzzworthy Red Wings prospects, complete with educated guesses about when each skater might arrive in Motown. Think of it as your roadmap to the future. Whether you're a casual fan curious about life after Moritz Seider or a prospect tracker logging every Grand Rapids stat line. And this is the part most people miss. Development timelines are rarely locked in. A scorching training camp, an injury on the big club, or even something as mundane as visa paperwork can rocket a youngster into the NHL, or keep him in the minors longer than anyone expected. Below, you'll find a detailed rundown of each player, the attributes that make scouts swoon, and the specific areas they still need to polish before Yzerman hands them a permanent locker at Little Caesars Arena. Of course, ranking prospects is inherently subjective. Do you prioritize sky-high upside, even if it comes with risk, or lean toward near NHL-ready stability? Should a raw 18-year-old with superstar potential outrank a 22-year-old who could capably fill a bottom-6 role tomorrow? Expect heated debate on those questions. So, without further ado, here are Detroit's top 10 prospects and our best projection of their ETAs with the Red Wings. Ready to meet the future? Question for the comments. Which youngster will force Yzerman's hand first? And who do you worry might stall out? Agree, disagree, or nominate your own dark horse candidate? Let's hear it. 2. 3 Red Wings prospects to watch in 2025-26. Wallinder, James, Cossa. 3 Red Wings prospects entering critical 2025-26 season. With the Detroit Red Wings in the midst of a relatively muted offseason, focus seems to be shifting toward the organization's prospects and young players. After making a few solid, but unspectacular additions in the free agent market, it appears the team's best hope for progress is growth from within. Some of the Red Wings' young players have already established themselves as NHL talent, and now the question is how high their individual ceilings are. Their prospects, scattered throughout several leagues in North America and Europe and parts of Russia, all offer various levels of upside and impact. Some of these prospects are in the early stages of their development and still have years of runway to develop into the players they were drafted to become. Other prospects, however, are at a critical stage of their development for one reason or another. The prospects listed here are entering a 2025-26 season that may very well dictate which direction their NHL ambitions are headed. While they don't need to become bona fide NHLers by the spring of 2026, stagnation or regression is almost completely off the table. D. William Wallinder. Last season, the Red Wings welcomed 2019 second-round pick Albert Johansson, https://thehockeywriters.com/docs/Albert-Johansson, to the NHL on a full-time basis. While his developmental path was a long and winding one, he looked pretty good once he arrived. He played significant minutes on Detroit's second defensive pairing with Simon Edvinsson, earning himself a 2-year contract extension before he could hit restricted free agency, RFA. There are whispers of hope that 2025-26 could be the year the Red Wings welcome 2022nd round pick William Wallinder into the fold. The Swedish defenseman was selected 32nd overall in that year's draft, a selection that would have been in the first round if he had been selected a year later. He is set to embark on his 3rd full season in North America, and he is looking to build on receiving his first NHL call-up last season. Related, should the Red Wings trade for Erik Karlsson? https://thehockeywriters.com/red-wings-rumored-trade-target-Erik-Karlsson. At his best, Wallinder is puck-moving defenseman that impacts the game by keeping the puck moving in the right direction. He is adequate defensively, and there was some hope that his offensive game would take a step forward last season when he assumed some of the offensive minutes in the American Hockey League, AHL. Edvinsson vacated when he joined the Red Wings. Wallinder didn't play during his brief stint in Detroit, but it had to feel like a vote of confidence from the organization. The Red Wings defense could use another injection of talent. If that injection comes from Wallinder taking a meaningful step forward in his development, the left side of Detroit's blue line could be young and talented for years to come. He will be a RFA at the end of the season, and with all of the defensemen permeating throughout the Red Wings system, https://octopusthrower.com/william-wallender-will-skyrocket-up-the-defensemen-prospect-rankings. He'll need to give the organization good reason to continue investing resources into his development. F. Dylan James. Another second-round selection, this time in the 2022 draft. Dylan James is set to begin his senior season at the University of North Dakota in 2025-26. Drafted 40th overall, the young winger has slowly developed his game at one of the elite programs in college hockey, and that slow, steady development is polishing him into a very intriguing prospect. James has always had good speed and compete, but he seemed to figure out how to translate those qualities into a higher level of production in his junior season. There may not be a more competitive area of Detroit's prospect pool than on the wing, so it is not enough to have a couple of good qualities without being able to make an impact. If he stays on his current trajectory, he will make a big impact for the North Dakota Fighting Hawks. The big thing facing James this season is that the Red Wings will lose their rights to him if they do not sign him to an entry-level contract within the next year. While there's no reason to believe he will hold out and has no interest in signing with Detroit, this is that critical moment in a collegiate hockey player's career where the next stage of their development takes shape. If all goes well, he should be a late-season reinforcement for the AHL's Grand Rapids Griffins. https://thehockeywriters.com/docs/Grand-Rapids-Griffins. If things go really well, he may even be a source of speed and energy that could help the Red Wings down the stretch. G. Sebastian Cossa. Drafted 15th overall back in 2021, there was pressure on Sebastian Cossa. https://thehockeywriters.com/docs/Sebastian-Cossa. From the moment the Red Wings traded up from 23rd overall to make him the first goalie off the board. Most of the chatter over his first couple of seasons was about the choice to take Cossa over Swedish goaltender Jesper Wallstedt, the consensus best goalie in the draft at the time. But the conversation has since shifted towards Cossa's developmental timeline as well as the fact the Dallas Stars took center Wyatt Johnston with the 23rd pick. Cossa recently completed his second full season in the AHL. Through his 2 years as the 1A in Grand Rapids, he has a 43-24-15 record, a 2.43 goals against average, and a .912 save percentage. While those are undoubtedly good numbers, they hardly scream dominance, especially when you consider that his stat lines from his first and second seasons with the Griffins are nearly identical. From a statistical standpoint, the 22-year-old has plateaued. However, there is a little more nuance to this conversation as his numbers do not totally define his development. On one hand, Cossa's steadiness and confidence in the crease is miles ahead of where it was even just a year ago. He has always been a more aggressive goaltender, but he has learned to harness that aggression while maintaining good positioning. When he's on his game, he has a certain swagger that permeates throughout the rest of the team. When he's off his game, however, it very seriously sinks the whole team. When the Griffins were swept out of their first-round playoff series against the Texas Stars this past season, Cossa was pulled in the first game, didn't start the second game, and then wasn't enough of a difference in the third game to stave off elimination. Like Wallinder, Cossa will be a RFA at the end of this season. While he likely isn't in danger of Detroit moving on from him entirely, his hold on the title of the Red Wings goalie of the future is slipping. With Trey Augustine and Michael Postava in the system, https://2025/07/02/red-wings-Yzerman- certain-postava- is-ready- for all-work. Among others, Cossa doesn't have a monopoly on potential at the goaltending position anymore. Cossa did make his NHL debut this past season, recording a win against the Buffalo Sabres in relief of Ville Husso. But this is the season he needs to show he can be more than just a solid starter at the AHL level. Which Red Wings prospects will you have a close eye on this season? Leave us a comment to let us know.